Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by Demico, Chrysler, Dodge Jeep, and Ram, serving the Finger Lakes since 1963. And Creekside Entertainment, for your DJ, karaoke, and photo booth needs. Think Creekside. And DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good evening and welcome to the 31st Lap. I'm Chris Marquardt. Joining me in the studio tonight, we've got John Baumes making his return to the 31st Lap. We've also got the one, the only Steven Ovens back in the studio, fresh in from a long trip to the Eldora Speedway. Guys, welcome to the 31st Lap, episode number 81.
Yo.
Everybody is sounding so tired today. This has been such a long week for just about everybody. Tons of racing going on. The big deal that Steven got to go out there and kind of, did you cover it for Race Chaser, or did you just get to experience the show?
Just got to experience the show. I'm just going to write a little editorial about our experience out there. And I'll tell you, man, I 2 days ago, I got real nervous about the hype of the event. I thought, man, is this gonna be a bust or
right?
And
there were a lot of questions going into it.
Yeah, and even to the heat races, I was still questioning the decision to do it. And man, I gotta tell you what, that 150 laps, man, they better put that back on the schedule because that was awesome.
Seems to be the consensus. Looking at the internet message boards and things today, online and stuff, everybody seems to be pretty thrilled. A lot of people were skeptical going into it, and then still people were skeptical, like I said, after watching practice on Tuesday. It wasn't all that exciting, but it's practice. It's not supposed to be exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
And then people weren't real thrilled because there wasn't a lot of passing in the heat races. But you know what? How many races do you attend a year where the heat races aren't always eventful?
Right.
But then come feature time, ends up being a barn burner.
They
it happens a lot.
Show.
It's all forms of racing. Heat races aren't always a thrill. At times they are, but not always.
Right.
And the race, even the B main was pretty exciting.
It was probably one of the best races of the night, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Watching Norm Benning come up through there. But, I know two guys that did not have a good time at Eldora. Number one was Scott Bloomquist.
Yep. He was out to lunch.
If he comes back next year, I highly recommend he brings the front sway bar with him.
Yes, don't remove it.
And number two was Johnny Sauter, who, with the green-white checkered, they did 153 laps, and Johnny Sauter hit it 153 times. The wall, that is, in turn 3. So he's got a little work to do.
You're not getting around there if you're not bouncing off the fence.
This is true, but he very clearly hit it 153 times.
Even John West Townley actually stayed pretty much going straight most of the race because on Tuesday in practice he spun out 6 times.
Yeah,
in practice, so he seemed to improve a little bit too because he was one of those guys that was really, really struggling going into yesterday's program. So, but all in all, I think Tony and NASCAR and everybody, their whole staff at Eldora and everybody did a great job. I thought the drivers, because for me, I was so thrilled when they announced this thing. We've been waiting for this. Race fans have been waiting for this for many, many years. So I was thrilled to death that they were doing this. But my one really major concern was because there's so many people that were going to be in this show without dirt track experience, we're going to be so far lost, And you saw it in practice. Everybody spinning out. I thought, this is what makes me nervous because I don't want the whole race to be caution.
Right.
They'll end up running 100 caution laps because, we all know in NASCAR they're going to count the laps. So I was worried that they'd run 3/4 of the race under yellow because everybody's spinning out all the time. But tell you, the first segment was really good. I mean, most of the race was very clean. Late in the race, they had a few yellows there, late, but that's the way it is typically anyway. In any of the races nowadays, they always have late race cautions because everybody's making their moves and running out of laps, and they get anxious and they make moves they wouldn't normally do with 100 laps to go.
Right, and we were driving to Eldora on Tuesday when they had the practice coverage, so we missed that, but we heard about it obviously, and there was a couple guys that did do some spins in the qualifying races, and Bubba Wallace was one of them, and you're thinking,
he was another one that
boy,
struggled all.
Here we go,
both days.
He's going to have a hard time, and then he comes out and still brings down the top 10 at the end of the night. So.
All in all, when it came down to feature time, everybody was pretty much ready to roll to get through that race, and all the drivers did a great job. They really did.
Absolutely.
Once again, this is the 31st lap, powered by D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Geneva, and connected to you fans by Creekside Entertainment, CreeksideEntertainmentDJ.com. We got all sorts of Eldora chatter on the docket through the course of the night. We'll be getting back to that. But the big news is, and we're going to be joined by Mike Mahaney here in about 8 minutes on the Creekside Entertainment hotline. Mike Mahaney picked up the win in the Crazy 8s event over at I-88 Speedway in Afton. John was down there for that as well. John has seen his share of racing this week, given that you were out of commission completely last week. You didn't even have cell phone service. You had to be twitching like you were in rehab.
We were camping on Findlay Lake, which is at the end of New York State, the western end of New York State, where it borders Pennsylvania. So we're right near the PA border, about a half hour from Erie, Pennsylvania. And at the campground, it was just no service at all. You could barely use your phone. You could barely send texts. You couldn't get on the internet. I was reeling a little bit because, I'm so used to getting all your updates and things and knowing what's going on, even though you're not at the track. And I didn't know what was going on all week. So
John drove to a local hotel just to get internet service for a few minutes.
We made because the campground was only a few miles down the road. It was like 5 minutes from Lake Erie Speedway. So we made our first ever visit there on Saturday night. And even while at the track, I like to check in your Facebook status. So I was going to check in and say, I'm at Lake Erie Speedway, and
you were gonna.
I couldn't even do that. Would not. I took a bunch of pictures with my phone.
It's a great thought, John.
Of the track, and I was going to upload them to Facebook, and they wouldn't upload. I couldn't connect. Nothing. I didn't have any service at all. So
Jerry Seinfeld said that's why it's called vacation.
That's right. It was that side of it was nice, but by the end of the first few days, it was great because I wasn't worried about the stupid phone. It was just plugged in the camper, didn't touch it. But then by the end of the weekend, you get to the weekend, now I want to know what's going on. Like Saturday morning, what happened last night in Malta, what happened here, what happened there, and I don't know what's going on.
Absolutely. Eldora is like that too.
Yeah.
With a Verizon phone.
Yep.
That was rough last night. Had nothing.
Ken said that he's glad he's not married to a stupid phone.
Well, that's good because
I know life was simpler before I had a phone, but I also know that it's simpler with it. I don't know why.
There's things that make it simpler. Then there's things where you don't want to throw the goddamn thing right through the window.
If it's sitting here, I can't. The other day, I had my phone. And I realized I got a Samsung Galaxy S3, and I noticed that I was just weeding through the pages on my home screen, just looking at the different pages. I had absolutely no goal, no in mind, nothing to do, but I couldn't put it down and leave it alone.
Yep.
And I'm like, kind of shook it loose. I'm like, what am I doing?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike had a great run down there, and
yes, he did. Yes,
took home over $8,000 for his efforts, lap. And that's his second win in a matter of days. He won Utica-Rome too.
Yeah, the makeup show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, he's had a nice putting together a nice little season. Like he said in Victory Lane last night, he was wondering how they're going to back up last year because he had the two big wins at Fonda last year. That, most people caught most people off guard. I don't think anybody went to Fonda opener last year thinking Mike Mahaney was going to win it.
Right.
I bet Mike Mahaney didn't go to the Fonda opener thinking Mike Mahaney was going to win.
Other than him and as people close to him, most fans didn't go in there thinking, okay, Mahaney's the guy to beat today. And he was. Right. And then he won the finale at Fonda too. So, he opened a lot of people's eyes last year. He had basically a career year, and he said in Victory Lane last night he was wondering, when he was going to be able to do this year, because after coming off of that last year, sometimes it's hard to top. Can you top it? Can you match it? Do something,
After you
so
break
last
through
night
for those big wins.
Yeah, so last night he kind of put himself back into that mode again.
Was Danny Johnson the Atlas 66? Ken wants to know.
Yes, he started on the pole and finished fourth.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Mahaney started on the outside pole and led every lap, so he brought home. He paid the gambler's fee because it paid $48.88 to win, and then he paid the gambler's fee, which brought the winner's share to $68.88. Then with lap money and contingency stuff. I think he brought home $82.49, I believe, was the payout that Brett Dale posted today.
And that's a good payday.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yep. And then Brett announced today that he's got some sponsorship from Mike
you were
Hardware.
talking a little bit about that. That's going to be
next year. It's going to pay
88 to win.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice move there. That's cool from them. Wow. A heck of a statement. Mike Mahaney would be a field filler at Canandaigua Motorsports Park.
Ooh.
Wow. We'll have to ask. Mike's going to be on the show here in just a few minutes. We'll be sure to ask him about that.
I wonder who posted that.
It was Jerry Seinfeld. That's who he signed in it. Didn't spell his name right, though.
Is that the 31st lap version of the orange cone on Twitter?
Right.
What?
The Orange Cone has a Twitter account. You ever see it?
Oh.
They interviewed they interviewed the Orange Cone on freaking, what's that show? Trackside on Speed. You ever watch that show?
Did they
Trackside
really?
on Speed, where they have the driver interviews on race weekend during the NASCAR events. And they had the Orange Cone in a chair and interviewed this stupid thing. It had a voice. Whoever, somebody was in the background and was talking for it, like a hidden person. And they had this stupid thing sitting in a chair, and they actually interviewed the Orange Cone and put up its Twitter account and stuff. Really?
Probably not one of their highest rated shows.
No, not at all.
Can we book the Orange Cone for next weekend? next Thursday?
Maybe. Good Lord.
Wow.
The Orange Cone.
Yeah.
Coming in on the hotline, the Orange Cone.
Yeah. Every once in a while, because I follow JJ Ailey and Casey Kane on Twitter, and every once in a while they will retweet an Orange Cone tweet.
Right.
Like, really? And it's always just random stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
What would an Orange Cone have to say that
I don't know. Nothing really.
Ken's getting real nervous over there. No,
Ken, don't be nervous.
We're not booking the Orange Cone.
Don't be nervous, Ken.
Yeah, Ken's getting all twitchy. He's like, "Oh no, they're going to talk about wingless sprints and have the Orange Cone on."
Well, if the Orange Cone wants to talk about wingless sprints, then we'll have them on.
Yeah, only if you're going to voice it. You're going to be over there talking to yourself.
It'll be the first time.
Well, last week was close. If Steven didn't come in, it would have been me talking to myself. I was nervous. I'm like, I hope John has reception.
He was looking a little ghost-like when I got here.
Was he? Yeah. He was a little pale.
Whoa. Don't need that.
Oh, we got a downtown.
Yep, that worked. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was real nervous because apparently Jay Fish isn't my friend anymore. I don't know what I did to him. He doesn't return my text messages. He doesn't return my phone calls. It's cool, though.
Pay no attention.
He and Mike are together tonight. Not like that.
Why? Jay is his date at the
yeah, he took
function?
Yeah, they had a function over at Turning Stone Casino, and they're out there together.
Wow. That's a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah, it was meant to be. A
Mets fan and a Yankees fan. Whew. Nice. So, yeah, back to the Eldora thing. I think they did a really, really good job. Obviously, you were there in person, so you saw more than I did. But
yeah, it was a great show. I mean, I can't wait to go back and experience that again. I really hope that that's something they do.
Yeah, I hope so too, and I think they will. I'll tell you what.
Do me a favor and do not use the term bucket list in this course of this conversation.
Why?
Because
it's already on mine.
Oh my God.
It was on mine when they announced the first one. Because I knew I wasn't going.
Right.
We contemplated it.
I just hope they don't. In all seriousness, I hope that they don't do with this what they did with the Winter Classic in the NHL. Now they're going to have like a bunch of outdoor games this year, and it's gonna water it down. It's gonna make it not special anymore. They need to limit it to one track. If they do it at Eldora and make it a regular thing at Eldora, that's fine. I mean, I'm on board with that. But
I think they need a couple. I'd like to see them put the dirt down at Bristol again. The problem is there's not a lot of places you can hold it because you need facilities that will house 20,000 people. Now, obviously, Eldora,
is there any dirt tracks in Pennsylvania that could support that many people? I mean, I can't think of really any place up our way that could support that. Bristol,
Williams Grove has got room, but they don't have the seating. You know what I mean? They'd have to put up
they'd have
stands.
to bring in temporary seating.
That was a big discussion all day today.
Knoxville is a place they could do it.
Yeah,
because they've got seating there.
Yeah.
Bristol, you could put the dirt down. Obviously, they've got the capacity to do it.
Right.
Sure.
It would lend itself well.
But there aren't many places that you could. do it.
Lernerville doesn't have the room to do it, I don't think.
See, I haven't seen the place in person, so I don't know.
I don't think they could. I mean, Terre Haute would be another fun track to do, but I don't think.
I mean, there's tons of
they've
tracks
got the
I
room,
think of,
but I don't think they've got the seating.
Right, the seating and the facilities.
There's one track that came up today, and this was because they were there last night. Was the Bruton Smith clan with Charlotte?
Charlotte,
the dirt track.
That's another one.
That was
another one I've heard people talk about, and that place would work if they would put in more seating.
Could the Valley do it?
No,
I don't think there's a room there.
They don't have enough.
They don't have
seating.
enough. Well, I wasn't thinking seating. I was thinking space for the
right.
vehicles.
And and that's the other thing is the pits. The pits, I don't think it'd be big enough.
Yeah, we'll have to,
maybe.
What about?
It'd be tough.
Mike Mahaney's joining us on the Creekside Entertainment Hotline. Mike, where do you think that they could run the Craftsman or the Camping World Truck Series? What?
There's no dirt track that has enough seating. They need to build one.
They need to build one. I kind of like that idea too.
I think Bruce Smith could do that if he wanted to.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that's what his interest is in. I think he's more into the mile and a half. It seems that he builds all over the place.
Yeah, he does all those cookie cutter friggin' things. He's done enough of that. Jesus.
Yeah, there's certainly enough of those to go around.
Mike, have you had a chance after last night's win? Have you had a chance to see the Eldora truck race or highlights or anything?
No, I haven't. My friend's got it videotaped, and I'm gonna watch it sometime, but I haven't got to it yet.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was different. Definitely different.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, it was cool.
I already know who wins, but it'll still be interesting to see.
Yeah, it wasn't a well-kept secret, was it?
Well, Mike, tell us a little bit about your night last night. It sounded like it was a pretty good evening for you.
Oh, absolutely! It was fantastic. I couldn't be happier. That was amazing. I really didn't. Even though we've had some real success there last year and this year too, it was a big surprise to me to be that good in the feature. Because in the heat race, it was a struggle. I started on the pole after the invert and dropped back to third, and then luckily for me, McCready broke his engine, and I ended up getting to redraw, and then the lucky thing again, I ended up with number 2, drawing last. I didn't even have to draw it, and then I'm starting up front, and I was pretty fast, like after a yellow, and with cold tires. But then on a long run, when I get in lap traffic and stuff, I kept seeing Shepard come up, getting closer, and one time he got alongside me and going down the backstretch. He was kind of, coming out of 2, he was ahead of me a little bit, and then I pulled him away from him on the straightaway. But we got a yellow right after that. Somebody spun out or had a flat tire or something, and it was just lucky again because I think on a long run he was definitely better than me, but after a yellow I seemed to be pretty good with the cold tires.
Yeah, it was a good race, and Matt was, Mike's right. The middle portion there, Matt was coming. Mike was bottlenecked there in traffic, and Matt was coming and caught him and did get in the inside of him there, and looked like he was going to possibly make the pass. And then, like Mike said, the car turned around there in turn 2 and brought the yellow out just in the nick of time for your sake.
Yeah, and it was crazy there in lap traffic. I mean, in order for him to pass me, he kind of had to pass one of the lap cars, and they were 2-3 wide in front of us.
Yeah, so they were.
That was a challenge in itself for both of us.
It was exciting to watch from the stands. I know that.
Yeah, I gotta say hats off to Jamie Page and Ronnie Ford for the surface. I mean, I was scared in the heat races because I was a little bit disappointed. It was mostly bottom groove there.
Yep.
But then in that second consi, they started getting the top side going, and it started to look racy, and I was like, all right, now it's coming in. It'll be fun to race. And I think it was. A lot of the guys came from the back, and there was a lot of passing, so I think it was it had to be a good race.
Yeah, Shepard started 13th or 15th or something. He rocketed up through there. He got to the top 5 in a hurry.
Running weekly at Canandaigua the way that he has been so deep in the field and driving up through has made him pretty accustomed to having to carve his way up to the front.
Yep. And the track was it was very racy come feature time. It was dusty. You know, sitting in the stands like Mike and I were, Matt and I were last night. It was hard to see coming out of 4 and down halfway down the front stretch. The cars disappeared a little bit. It was pretty dusty, but the track was very racy.
Mm-hmm.
How big is an $8,000 payday for you?
On the racetrack where, from the rain and stuff the night before, there's some not clay, whatever it is, it's not clay. But a lot of the surface was fantastic and wicked smooth. And to start out with, I was really surprised how fast and bitey it was in time trial. Some of those lap times were a lot faster than we'd have run all year long there on the weekly shows.
Yeah.
How big of a shot in the arm is an $8,000+ payday at this point of the season?
Huge. It's so huge. I mean, earlier in the year when I flipped the car at Fonda, that was a big setback for us.
Yeah, that was opening day, right?
Yeah, it was the icebreaker.
Ice jam, yeah.
Or ice jam.
Yep.
And it just really hurt because it's pretty hard when you just had to buy a brand new chassis and body and a whole bunch of parts to be like, hey, can we get a new set of tires?
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen that well. And when we have a good run like we did last night, it's easy to just go out, put some new tires on, and do it again.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much nicer to just have stuff at your reach, and it always makes it so we can hit more shows, we can race more, and it's just awesome. I can't say enough about Brett Dale for pumping up these shows. He really does a good job promoting, and
he does a wonderful job.
They always get the good cars. They get a huge car count. They get all the fans.
Yep.
I mean, he had that fan fest beforehand. They had music, and everybody was excited. I sold like 8 T-shirts beforehand, and
nice.
It was a fun night. He puts on a good show.
He does a wonderful job with his promoting. He gets out there and he talks to the drivers, and he does a lot of work with sponsors and getting people to support the show with products and a lot of different things. So he offers the racers a lot when they come to his show. A lot of people walk away not empty-handed.
Yeah, and I see he got sold to
they're up in the
for next year. It'll be 8,888, and he just continually works to make it better every year. It's amazing.
Are you planning on going to his show at Accord?
Yep, we are, and I think I'll be in the 21 that night too.
Yep. That's good. That should be a good show. I think he'll get a lot of people at that show. With having the Super Dirt Series being in Michigan that night, I think you'll see a lot of guys show up because you won't see the Shepherds and and Danny and Jimmy Phelps and some of those guys that sometimes take the money and run. So I think it'll be supported.
Show up.
Yeah. But it's funny though, with his shows, those guys don't win them.
They don't.
It's always the people they don't always expect.
Look at the list.
You got Ryan Watt winning a Clash at the Can this year.
Yep.
Mike winning last night. Not that he's an underdog, but when you got guys like Jimmy Phelps and Billy Decker and Danny Johnson and Matt Shepard, those are the guys you think of first.
Yeah, you don't sign into I-88 thinking outside of maybe 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
For whatever reason,
and if
his shows.
When you do think of a regular, Mike's one of the ones you think of because he's a regular there. But Brett's shows always produced the guys that you don't.
But
always
Brett's
think
big
of
shows,
first.
Brett's big shows are at tracks that are off that beaten path,
Yes.
though.
They're
and I think,
equalizers.
yeah, exactly. I think that definitely evens the field. Look at some of the past winners of the short track Super Nationals.
5 mile. I know
It's been tremendously good races.
Yeah.
Really, really good races.
Kevin Herthler, Dwayne Howard, who won it last year?
Danny Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, I mean these are. Howard, a lot of people sometimes will expect him to win shows like this, but not Kevin Herthler or Danny Tyler aren't the first people you think of.
Right.
and it's nice to see that. That's what I love about his shows, because it produces things you don't expect.
And it's also big for myself and those other guys. I'm sure that all the big guys are there.
Yep.
Even though there's all these,
Yeah, what's that mean to you to win that race? I mean, you held off Matt Shepard and you had all those big guns in the pits.
It just means a lot because there's a lot of good competition there, and it just adds to the prestige.
Yeah, I mean, the two hottest drivers in our dirt modified racing right now, arguably, are Matt and Stewie.
Yeah.
And
we'll get to Stewie in a second.
To be heads up with Matt and beat him, it's got to be gratifying for sure.
Just a couple days after he did the same thing to Stu.
Right after running, beating Stewie at Utica-Rome on Sunday, and it's just two really good races.
Yep.
In the same week is just amazing.
Take us through that race at Utica, having the yellow flag late, and then having to hold him off with one to go.
Yeah, that was crazy because Darwin Green was running around with a flat tire, and the tire came off. So then they threw the yellow for debris, and at that point I figured I kind of had it covered as long as I just kept hitting my marks. Yellow comes out, and we're side by side. Well, no, it's a single file restart, and going into turn one, I hit the mark pretty good. But then going into three, I think I got a little push. He gets alongside me, and we're side by side, going down the front stretch. We're side by side, going down the back stretch, and going into three, I got it just right. And coming out of four, I didn't see him going down the front stretch. So I'm sure he was pretty close, but it wasn't up to my window or anything. And it meant a lot because it's just he is tough to beat. And if you ever go up to Fonda and see the way he dominates that place, it's just like it's an ego killer.
Yeah, and down
it's unbelievable how fast he is there, and it's just cool to be able to compete with him. And that race was just so close, and it was a little bit rough on the bottom, and I broke the lower part of my shock tower, and the front end was bouncing around a little bit because of that, and it was a wild race.
How difficult is it to concentrate over those final laps when you know he's knocking on the door? I mean, you got the palm sweating and your heart pounding out of your chest, or is it just another day at the office and you can focus on what you need to do with the wheel?
I'm not gonna lie. I was almost talking to myself. I kind of just said, "All right, just do your thing. Don't pay attention to who's next to you. Just race your own race. Don't even look over there. Just try to hit your marks. If you don't mess up, he's not going to get by you."
Yeah, because sometimes you can psych yourself out.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I try to just keep my focus, and honestly, it's the same as any sport you do.
Yeah.
If you're focused on what you're doing and you do the best you can, then
things will work out.
What happens. So if I did everything I possibly could, and he passed me, well, he passed me. But
right.
Kind of like if I start paying attention to him and mess up, it's my own fault.
Yeah.
Is that the difference between racing to win and racing to not lose?
Right.
How excited was Skip?
Oh, he was great. He was so excited. The whole team was excited. They've been wanting to win so bad ever since I started driving for them. It just every week we're always talking about what we can do to get out there and win. And it's been a top 5 car almost every time we don't have anything go wrong. We're like a 5th place car, and we're just always talking about what can we do to get up a couple more spots. And it was just amazing to have those guys up in victory lane. They're so excited. It was a weight off my back, and I'm sure they're really happy about it, and we're excited to continue there.
How's your first full year you mentioned Fonda, and now your new Saturday night home? How you been enjoying it? Because it's new for you on a weekly basis. Yeah,
I've said this before. The weekly racing there is a lot different than the specials.
Yeah, it is.
And the nighttime racetrack is is pretty fast, and that track is one in a million. It's totally different than anything else I race on, and it's cool. I enjoy it, and it's a long haul for me, but it's cool to mix it up. I like doing a different track, than I did last year, and it's just it just adds to my learning curve, I guess you could say, because I get some experience at a different track rather than doing the same one all the time, and
yep.
That variety just keeps it spiced up and keeps it interesting.
Yep, and you're right in saying, talking about Fonda in the weekly program, for me, growing up, going there my whole life, I know how that place is on a Saturday night. And anybody that out there that only goes to Fonda a couple times a year for their specials, like the opener or McDonald's weekend, all they ever get to see is the daytime racing, because all their two big specials each year, bookend the year, they're always afternoon shows, and they don't. If you want to see a really good show at Fonda, you need to go on a weekly Saturday night when it's nighttime racing, because that place is completely different in the nighttime than it is during the day, for sure.
And you'll be amazed. I mean, it was crazy last Saturday. I thought I had a really good car, and I was coming up through, and then when I saw Friesen, it was like, okay,
yeah,
because he is just in another class.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
He has been the last 2 years now.
When he was in the lead, I was in sixth, and there was a restart, and probably in one lap, I went from sixth to second, and by that time, he was straight away ahead.
Yep.
And a few laps later, I couldn't even see him anymore.
He's doing, the last 2 years, Stewie is doing at Fonda what through the 80s of growing up there watching that Orange 12A. I mean, that's what Jack did for years there. Just total domination. You could start him in Fultonville, and he would still find a way to get to the front before halfway. I mean, just always just that fast.
It's such a momentum track, too, though.
Yeah, it is.
If you ever are in traffic, it's unbelievable how much it slows you down.
Yep.
And you get out on your own and in the lead. It's fun just driving around it by yourself, and it's your lap times pick up huge.
Yep. They get real strong out there. You
have to get into
easily.
A rhythm.
Yeah.
I know my rhythm gets killed a lot of times in the heat races. I get out there in the warm-ups and cars flying.
Yep.
You're on the throttle, and you out in the heat race, and you start third row back, and the guy in front of you isn't really going as fast as you want to be going.
Yep.
And, I mean, you hit the brakes one time there, and you've lost half a second.
Yeah.
So it really kills you to be in traffic, so you got to get through there really quick, and that's the challenge. I mean, it's 30 laps that goes by in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and the last few years, I don't know what it is about Fonda, but the last few years, they have become notorious to have green to checker races. They have had a countless number of green to checker races in the modified race on a Saturday night for the last 5 or 6 years.
And that's the reason. I mean, you got to be really fast there, not only just to be the fastest car, but I mean, for Friesen, he's got to be fast enough to get from 15th or 17th or wherever he starts,
yep,
and get to the lead without a yellow.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's insane. The way everybody, the slide jobs and the slicing through traffic. Some of the moves I've seen other people make have amazed me. Just sitting back in the driver's seat, it's amazing.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying running there. It's kind of cool to see some new faces the last couple of years go to Fonda, like Stewie and yourself and some of those guys. It's nice.
Talking on the Creekside Entertainment Hotline with Mike Mahaney, winner of the Crazy 8s event over at I-88 Speedway, and also Sunday over at the Utica-Rome Speedway. We got some questions coming in on the Creekside Entertainment live chat. One of them was there any advantage for you running on the fresh track early in the night? And then another one, they want to know if you prefer the pill draw or time trials.
I definitely prefer the time trial. I thought that was a great improvement because I'm a terrible draw. And I have so many times where I show up to a race and you hear it all over the pits. Honestly, oh man, I should have never signed in if I knew I was going to draw 90. it just ruins your night.
Yeah.
And
you haven't even gotten in the car, and you're like,
with the time trials,
right.
you have your own you pick your own fate. And guys, I saw most of the guys seemed happy about it. I saw one complaint about he said that some of the guys aren't given a chance, but I mean, to me, they did get a chance. They had a chance to make 2 laps and be faster than everyone else. If they weren't, then I don't know. They don't really need to be up there because they're just going to be kind of in the way in the end anyway.
Well, it's
but the invert, that's to mix it up so that some of the front runners aren't all starting on the pole.
Right. It's tough though with anything that's timed like that because there's certain guys that time trial very, very well, and then there's certain guys who just struggle at it, and they're just not. They almost like doing the time dashes was different last night because you're still time trialing, but you're chasing somebody. Because there was 4 or 5 cars out there at a time, Mike, right?
Yeah.
So you're always chasing
that
somebody.
Too. Rather than doing them individually,
the
groups really does help.
Yeah.
In the case where you can see a car in front of you and you can tell, that was a good lap because I gained up on a guy.
Yeah, because a lot of people,
that was a bad lap because he pulled away from me. But it can kill you, too, if you don't get spread out and you get behind a car, you can hold you up. And that happened to me early in the year at Rolling Wheels.
Yep.
I had a really good lap going and caught a guy going into 3 and followed him through 3 and 4, and it just killed my lap. And then that was the difference between first and second in the group.
Right. Yep. That's true.
That's just the way it goes. You got to be smart about it and lay back and hope that somebody doesn't pass you at the last second either.
Yep. Yeah, it is funny
that
though.
happened before too.
It is funny though how some people just they need that car to chase. They can't mentally. They need that car in front of them.
Absolutely.
Because they know they're being timed, but they want that car in front of them because, like Mike said, you can judge how you're doing. If you gain them, you're going a pretty good lap. And it's some people go out there by themselves.
Let's
and
put it this way: what if they're leading the race?
Yeah,
you
right.
You got to be able to hit your marks.
That's
anyway.
true. That's a good point.
Is that hard to get over?
The second question.
The second question was: did you prefer? Was there any advantage to running early in the night on the fresh track? I think that was more of a reference to Utica-Rome. That question popped up when we were talking about Utica-Rome. You were early. You were early.
The makeup feature ran early, right?
Oh, okay. Absolutely not, because
no, really,
makeup feature was like a tacky.
It was probably balls to the wall heavy, wasn't it?
And then the second feature was
is that a technical term?
A normal Utica-Rome night when it's really slick all through the middle. The bottom had a little bit, but not a lot, and the top was bitey going into the corners, but not coming off. So it was completely different than the first feature. I actually kind of had the problem that I should have probably adjusted the car a little bit for the second feature, but as good as we were in the first, we left it alone.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh man, the car's really good, and it still was really good, but it probably could have been better. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's a lot of discussion on if you run time trials, why bother with heats? Kind of interesting.
Well, then you'd be NASCAR and lining up by time trials.
That's the point where the guy needs somebody in front of him to do better. Then it still gives him a chance if he didn't time well.
Yeah, because if you're a poor time trialer, you could still start well in a feature if you advance through your heat race and get into redraw or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I mean, the theory...
how boring is NASCAR that they only have...
Yeah, they do time trials and that's it.
Time trials and no heats.
Yeah.
I think that's terrible because I think some of the shorter races are more exciting, especially when your features 300, 400, 500 laps or whatever. I mean... Your whole
fate rests on 2 laps in time trials. And in most cases, with NASCAR, it's 1 lap. Usually, the first lap is the good lap. The second lap's throwaway because your tires are shot after 1 lap.
I think if you're going to do time trials, if they did a full inversion so that the fastest car was the one that's going to be like basically handicap the heats the same way that you do your weekly track handicapping, so the fastest guy is going to be 8th in an 8-car heat and your slowest car, and do it that way, it's definitely going to put some more value into those heats, and it's going to make those guys race harder. But then the argument's going to get flipped around and say, well, why don't you just do a pill draw and skip time trials altogether?
Right.
Fact is that there's some sponsor money out there too that they're willing to put up for it, like with the Integra Shocks Fast Time Award.
Yep.
That probably plays into it a little bit too.
And I'm a race
Yeah,
fan. I want
you
it
know what?
all.
I like the variety too. As many different ways as you can do it. It's kind of cool just to mix it up, to have something for people to talk about.
Yeah.
To mix the show up, it gives different people an advantage here and there, and it's always a good idea to throw something different in there just to mix the show up, because that's what it's about, is putting on a show, and you can't just have the same old thing every time.
So every race being the same would be stale after a while.
Do a full field invert and then see your heats that way. That'll put on a show.
Do an event that way. Why not?
I would love to, but
I still wish they would qualify. Like, just for example, say the Super Dirt Series. You know, they do the redraw for the top 2 or 3 in a heat race. So the top 12 or 15 or whatever it happens to be that night draw for their.
Isn't it generally
positions.
top 12 though? I mean,
whatever it is.
Always?
If it's top 12, I wish they would do all the heat qualifiers. Whoever qualifies in heat, everybody redraws. So it's back to, say, whatever it is, 20th or 22nd or however many they took out of the heats.
You know how many water bottles Advanced Auto Parts are going to have to give away?
Oh, shucks.
Man.
But that would make it really interesting.
Because then you know, T-shirts and frisbees.
Yeah.
Because then the field really gets mixed up, you know.
I've got another one for you where they can do time trials, and they do a handicap invert where if you're towards the front of the time trials, you make the invert, and so say there's top 4 in the heats, you'd be starting 4th if you were the fastest. You know, that's the way it was the other night, and
right.
I like that idea because it kind of makes you race in the heat.
Yep.
But you also don't want to have too good of a time trial with the invert.
Yeah.
But then if you throw a dash in there, it's like if you time trial the fastest, you'll be starting in front of the dash.
Right.
But that's only if you make it in through the heat.
Right.
And you're going to have to start in the back of the heat.
Right.
Because of the invert.
Yeah.
So it's really challenging that way, and it kind of just throws everybody's mind.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a World of Outlaw sprints. Again, everything rests on your time trial lap. If you don't have that great a lap, or if you have a great lap but you don't have that great a heat, and you come through the B main, you get your time back. So you start up ahead of the, if you set quick time but you didn't qualify through your heat, you qualify through the B main, you go fall back on your time, and you start ahead of some of those guys that even qualified through the heat. It's very confusing.
Yeah, that's
what they should do.
But then they do the dash, and they got the top 10 guys, or you got 10 cars in the dash. Those guys are going to start in positions 1 through 12. So they're basically, if it's Rolling Wheels the other night was a 25-lap feature for the Outlaws. Their 10-lap dash, basically you're extending the feature for the top 10 starters by 10 laps. So if you start 10th in the dash, you got a 35-lapper to get to the front rather than a 25-lapper, and it's kind of weird.
It is.
They should just do away with all this stuff and go out on passing points.
That's what I think. What's your opinion on passing points, Mike? What do you think? You probably never have run a race with passing points, have you?
I've only won one race with passing points.
You have run one?
Yeah, it was a ESS race at Weed Sport.
Right.
Nice.
I had to start. I had a really good draw. I had to start last in my heat.
Yeah, which is good with passing points.
Tell John how asinine passing points are.
Now, passing points would be great if you were an experienced driver in a sprint car.
Right. Yeah. Would you?
But that was my first time ever in that car.
Right.
And starting dead last, and somebody drove through the infield on the first corner and threw a bunch of dust up, and I got way behind and didn't go anywhere.
So if you were in your modified, would you like to try a modified race with passing points one day?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Mike, what are you doing?
See? That's what. That's
I thought
what
we were friends, Mike.
I told Brett that's what he needs to do with one of his shows, because he's always looking for new ways to come up with a promotion.
Not saying do it all the time,
right?
I just like the variety.
No, it's got nothing to do. It's got
Mike. Once or twice a year would be cool.
It's got nothing to do with passing points, Mike. It's about whether you are or aren't going to agree with John Baumes.
Then we would have to do a special episode just to explain passing points.
Well, you know what? If people can't figure it out, then it sucks to be them. If they know how to read,
I'll fix that for you right now, everybody. Go ahead.
If they know how to read, they'll figure it out.
Okay.
I read about it several years ago, and I figured it out. It's not that difficult if you take the
Sorry
time.
this came up, everyone. I do apologize for everyone at home. Our live viewership just dropped to 4.
Hey, I got one racer on my side that would like to try it once. So,
yeah. Mike, I'm sorry about that.
I'm gonna keep bugging Brett to try that with one of his shows someday.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us here on the Creekside Entertainment hotline. You know, congratulations on the win at Utica. Congratulations on that huge payday and the win in the Brett Dale-promoted Crazy 8 show over at I-88. We'd like to give everybody a chance. Let us know how all the fans can find you. I know you got social media stuff working, you got website stuff working, and then of course let us know who's on the car and who help keep the car on the track.
All right, yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. You can find me on Facebook at Mike Mahaney Racing, and I've got a website, MikeMahaneyRacing.com. Got Twitter at Mike Mahaney, and my email's on my website if you need to get a hold of me. And I really want to thank Charlie Davis for the car there that I run last night. It was just phenomenal. And Woodside Farms, BA Headers, Shop Crane, and my mom and dad were there last night, and all the crew from the 77X team that I normally drive for at I-88, and all those guys are so supportive, and we all work together so well. It's just been a phenomenal season. I'm very pleased.
You guys got plans for one or both of the cars to be at Super Dirt Week?
No, we'll be doing satellite shows with whatever cars. I haven't made plans for that yet, but I don't have a ride for the mile.
How about the short track Super Nationals at 5 Mile?
Yeah, that'll be either the 77X or the 21, I believe.
So
right now the 77X doesn't have an engine in it, so we're working on that. It'll probably be done in a week or two. So when that comes back into play, it'll be a lot easier to choose what races we do. But right now I'm kind of limited on small blocks.
Sure.
So the mile you're open to if an owner out there is looking to fill a seat, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've been wanting to drive around there for a long time and just never had the opportunity.
I'd love to have you there because I need you. I got you on my fantasy league team. That's a double point show. I need you there.
All right.
Well, go get him a ride then.
Motor and start making some phone calls.
That's too funny.
You want to win the fantasy league? That's what it takes.
How bad do you want it?
That's right.
How is it strange to you that in the span of a season and a half that you have become transitioning more into somebody who at a lot of these events is being looked to as someone who has the potential to win? I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about how when a certain core group of drivers shows up that a lot of people get overlooked, but at the same time, there's been a lot of events that have happened this season that we've kind of tried to pick our own winners, and your name, given that you're going to be there, has been in the discussion among each one of those events.
Well, that's awesome to me. It just makes me feel good because that's my goal in racing is to be looked as a guy that can win, and I think that's what a lot of people strive for because it gives you a lot of opportunities. People want you to drive for them, and if you can finish up front, it's just like job security. So, and this is what I like to do. So that's what I want is to be able to have more opportunities to do it, and that's what it takes. Just got to keep putting it in victory lane.
What happens if you get offered a ride with somebody else, with one of those top echelon teams? Do you take it, or do you stick with the guys that you're with now?
Well, you really got to weigh your options, and a lot of the guys that I drive for now have said, if something better comes along, you better take it, and that's not to say that I wouldn't still be able to drive for them too, because there are so many shows. Lots of times, I mean, there's some big time rides out there that say just want to do the dirt series or just want to do the ROC series or something like that, and that doesn't cover your weekly racing,
Sure.
for example. So, I just, as it is right now, I have 4 rides, and I still miss some races here and there.
Yep.
You know, so it's not like there isn't room for more. And I'm very pleased with all the teams that I have, and very grateful. It's amazing to me the way things have turned around from a couple of years ago, and I couldn't be happier. It's so much fun.
You ran the right race last night, and you still yet missed one. Did you guys put anybody in the Speedster last night at Kutztown or no?
No. We're working on going there next Wednesday.
Yeah.
After we're going to Grandview Tuesday.
Yep.
So, but I think my dad wanted to be there for the race last night. He wasn't able to be there Sunday, and I know he really wanted to be and just couldn't make it. So I think that probably played a part in that.
Yeah, because I know the last time you had missed Kutztown, your dad drove, right?
Yeah. Well, the last time we went, I drove, actually. But the time before that.
Right. When the last time you couldn't go, he took over, didn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you said earlier that he was there last night, then obviously I knew he didn't go last night.
Yeah, a lot of those were kind of just like, it was crazy because when we started the season, we thought there was only going to be maybe 1 or 2 that we were going to miss.
Yeah.
Or that I was going to miss. And turns out, you know, like if there's a Tuesday race, the rain date is a Wednesday.
Yep.
And then I can't go.
Right.
So it turned out to work out. You know, he could go, and I went and raced where I raced, and we both had fun.
Have you enjoyed the Speedster deal?
Oh, absolutely.
They look like they're a blast to drive.
It's a great deal because the cost is down on the car, and the cost is like equal to a regular show at most modified tracks.
Right.
For the payout,
right.
and that's a big difference, you know, because modifieds are really expensive compared to Speedster.
Yeah.
What's the budget for
those
those
race
Speedsters?
for the same payoff? That's amazing.
What's the budget?
I honestly don't know how they do it.
Those cars are pretty reasonable.
I know they get a fantastic crowd. I mean, the grandstands are packed. They get a lot of cars in the pits, and it's a great show there. The track's nice. It's got a nice little cushion around the outside. There's a lot of slide jobs going on. I mean, the 600 race,
I heard
believe.
The 600s put on a hell of a show every week.
They put on a show there. Wingless racing is so awesome.
That's right.
It's just amazing.
Now that's the best thing he said this entire show.
Even better than passing points?
No.
Well, you're gonna get a lot more passing points in a wingless race than you ever will in a wing race.
That's right.
That's for
because the wing race is hard to pass.
Exactly.
I wish Mike was here to hear that. I would have a field day right now.
Well, Mike hasn't been here for 4 weeks. He's not going to be here for another 4. So
we need to replay that sound bit for him.
We're going to be long removed from this conversation.
Yeah, but we can replay the sound bit next time he comes.
You know, the thing is Mike was on the texting me back and forth when we were trying to map out what we were going to do tonight, and he goes, get a hold of Mike Mahaney, and I'm like, all right. So I shot Mike a text, and I was so excited to have him on, and I was bummed out that Mike was going to miss it. Now, I mean, he would have been pulling what was left of his hair out if he's hearing all that.
That was awesome. Perfect statement.
Yeah, Ken just said in the Creekside Entertainment live chat, he goes, now John's not going to shut up about wingless cars.
Yeah, Mallet likes to bust on me about sprint cars. He's like, you need to get a real race car. Get a sprint car. He'll say that a lot.
I don't know, the modified seems to be doing okay.
The racing's fun no matter what it is. It's just seems to be that I've kind of found a place in the modified world, and I'm enjoying that, you know.
Just next time he hounds you about it, just tell him I'll get a sprint car when ESS takes the wings off.
Wow. Wow.
Why don't they mix it up and do some of each?
I bug Dino all the time, but he just laughs at me.
I don't think that they would get the driver support for it. Do you
no,
think so?
a lot of them whine. They need that crutch.
Yeah. Wow. You're getting awful brave over there with that microphone between you and the throng of pitchfork wheelers and flaming torch carriers.
Who needs a crutch?
Wow. We got a lot of kickback at Black Rock when we did that topless show. We took the roofs off the modifieds and ran topless there one time, and there was a lot of kickback. A lot.
You know what I want to see is a total, like, not just topless, but just body.
No body?
No body?
The modifieds look like a wingless sprint.
Yep.
But with a long wheelbase and just race them like that.
That'd be cool.
Seems like it would be a lot less sheet metal and stuff to mess around with. And
that'd be neat. I'd watch
what
that.
everybody enjoys about with the sprint cars, everybody that owns one is like, oh man, it's half the time to wash it, and then it's it's just easier to work on, and have body panels to straighten out and everything. And
maybe you can pitch that idea to Brett Dale and
we'll get Brett to do a bodiless show
with passing points. Brilliant. This is.
What do you know? We're coming up with ideas.
Yeah, this episode turned into a real think tank. I hope Brett's listening.
I like it. We're on to something here.
John's going to put up close to $10 of his own money to make that show happen. He's gonna.
I'll do 12 in honor of the 12A.
For the leader of lap 12, there's a free subscription to the Dick Dragon Motorsports fantasy team.
Oh, good Lord!
Nice job, John. Nice job. Go on. I'm sure you've got more now. Go on.
I'm good.
You're good now?
I'm thinking.
So are y'all ready for this weekend, or you got some work to do?
Pretty close. My 33 car is down at the Brady shop, and he's got the car just about ready to scale. Scott does, and I've got 21 washed from yesterday, and just got to do a little maintenance on that and get it scaled up for Fonda. And Skip's car is in great shape for Utica-Rome, so we're in good shape. I think we'll have to flip the 21 from Saturday night and run it Tuesday at Grandview.
So you are taking Charlie's car to Grandview then?
Yeah, as long as nothing crazy happens Saturday night, we'll be good to go there.
Nice. I think I'm going on that show with Mike on Tuesday. I got to see that 4 car. I ain't seen it yet this year. I'm getting the look over there.
Yeah.
What do you mean you're going Tuesday?
No, you can go.
I got it all figured out. Don't worry.
That was quite a look.
You don't have to ask permission from us. Oh, you mean the person that won't be on camera?
The one that nobody can see hiding over there. Just give me that look.
They can see him now. There we go.
You just flash?
Yeah. Flash it quick.
Nice.
Well, Mike, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. And it sounds like you got a good plan together. John will get a hold of Brett for you and start putting the piece of that puzzle in place. And we sure wish you the best this weekend. Put another couple wins together, and we'll be back here Thursday with you.
All right. Thanks for putting on a good show, guys.
No problem. Congrats, man. Thanks.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thanks. And there goes off the Creekside Entertainment Hotline.
That was fun.
Mike Mahaney.
You gotta get that little snippet sound bit right there and save that for.
No, I'm gonna make Mike have to listen to the whole show and be surprised.
We need to somehow get
unless
that.
somebody's probably texting him now.
We need to somehow get that sound bit and put it on his phone as his ringtone.
We're not gonna do that. That's terrible.
Oh, that would be a blast.
That's terrible.
That'd be awesome.
He wouldn't find the humor in that whatsoever. I know you would. Just wanted to make a quick mention. D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram helping present the 31st lap all season long here.
Yes, go buy a Mopar.
Yep, gotta love the Mopar. Staple of the Finger Lakes since 1963. D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram offers full service, parts, and sales from their headquarters on routes 5 and 20 on the west side of Geneva. Their lineup includes the beautiful new 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Challenger, the Charger, and Dodge's hot new offering, the Dart. This is the summer clearance event with all the 2013 models drastically reduced. July is historically D'Amico's busiest month, and it's the month to clean out the new car inventory to make room for the next model year. There's still plenty of 2013s available in stock. Be sure to stop over. Everything has been priced below dealer invoice. Visit my favorite sales rep, Mike Godkin, and the rest of the D'Amico family online at D'AmicoChryslerDodgeJeep.com or visit them in person at the dealership, opening daily Monday to Saturday at 8:30. For more information, call D'Amico's at 877-407-7207. And also, your official fan connection of the 31st Lap, Creekside Entertainment in Newark. They are the fastest growing DJ service in the Finger Lakes. Based out of Newark, the group features anything you might need to kickstart your next party or gathering. The official photo booth provider of the Rochester Nighthawks, Creekside Entertainment offers DJ services, sound rentals, and karaoke. They can be found in the area weekly, including F&A Rhythm and Booze, the Great Bar in Waterloo. They're there from Monday. They're there Monday nights from 8 until 12. Every Friday at the Poorhouse in Dundee from 9 to 1. All the way through December, every Friday night at the Quality Inn in Newark, featuring rock and roll karaoke from 9:30 to 1:30, and then Saturday nights at the Penny and VFW from 8 until 12. That's Creekside Entertainment, the official fan connection sponsors of the 31st Lap. Online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or email creeksideentertainment@yahoo.com.
Man, that was a mouthful.
I hope they're about 20 to 30 seconds long. I wasn't really pacing it out.
It's not bad.
That was what the deal was. They felt about right.
You did better reading that than I would have.
Yeah, I figured
I would have goofed it all up.
I figured once I get a little bit more practice at that, it'll be about time because we're coming up on August, so I got to rewrite this stuff for D'Amico. We got one more drop for D'Amico later on. We're going to talk about the trade-in, so make sure you get your cars over there. We'll do that a little bit later on. Thankfully, Creekside probably isn't going to change a whole lot until what it sounds like December.
Well, we do have a new show for August. We'll be at the Palmyra American Legion.
You'll have to make
Friday.
sure you submit that in writing on the
I
proper
will.
form. So
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll stop down and leave that with the secretary for you.
Yeah, do that. Oh, look at PBA Racing or PB Racing. I don't know.
PBA, the Pro Bowlers Association.
They're beginning to merge. They're automotive bowling. They're gonna they thought they were a good plug.
Parker Bone's family bowls and races, right?
Parker Bone has won a feature at Black Rock Speedway.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
There you go.
I interviewed him and I was like, "This is the oddest thing that I've ever seen." Parker Bone III's climbing
Parker
out of
Bone
a super
III.
stock. Yeah,
I can bowl and I can race.
Doug Kent, right?
That's
Doug Kent from Newark. He
Kent.
was there too. I mean, this was the strangest night.
You could say it didn't look awkward, but
He was up in the booth and he was like, "So now what?" I'm like, "Oh, you want to go bowl?"
I wouldn't challenge him to that.
I wasn't trying to challenge him. I
Kick
didn't.
your ass at that. He's pretty damn good.
He bowling ball cannons from Hammer Down Brad. You know that guy?
I think I know that guy.
You know that guy?
Yeah.
Where's your dad? He had all sorts of stuff to weigh in on. Did you shut his computer off and he can't figure out how to turn it on now?
Honestly, I think we talked his ears off on the way home. He was ready for a nap when we got home.
Your brother went with you too?
Yep, all three of us. Little family vacay.
Nice.
We talked a little bit about it earlier. I mean, tell us more about your trip out there and what you plan on doing for RaceChaserOnline.com.
Well, we took a trip out to Eldora. Brad has actually been there several times shooting for Speed or whatever channel was carrying at the time. That was when the World of Outlaws was on national TV.
Yep.
So he's been there. I think he said 3 or 4 times. But yeah, just to go out there to take in the show. When I first heard about the show, like everybody was like, "Man, this is really going to be something big." And I said to Dad and Brad, I said, "Hey, we got to go to this. We don't want to look back if it doesn't go well and it doesn't come back again."
Right.
We want
to
to be able to
may not get another
hold
shot.
on to that ticket and say, we were able to go to that.
Yep.
So, but so as far as Race Chaser goes, just gonna kind of give an idea because certainly there was a lot of people that weren't able to be there, and you'll be able to kind of see what we saw from turn 3. I'm sure front stretch was a good seat, but I gotta tell you, turn 3, that was the only thing you would miss from our seat in turn 3 was if somebody made a dive bomb down the bottom of 1 and 2.
You couldn't see them.
You wouldn't see that.
Because it's so far down.
Because it is. It's so far down. But when I asked Brad, I said, "What's Eldora like? What's it like walking in?" And he said, "It's Woodhull Raceway on steroids." As far as looking down in and
That's
being in
bowl.
a big bowl.
Yep.
And when we walked in, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to go to the infield where you walk under the tunnel of love?
They don't let you for that.
You can't get in there?
Like the
No.
Prelude too, when it was all those NASCAR nights, you gotta have major credentials. You gotta be somebody to get in there.
Yeah.
They don't just let
And
fans.
You want to know something?
Fans can't just buy tickets.
Early in the Prelude's existence, when we went out there, we got into
Did
the
you?
infield for that, and I don't know how it happened. It was one of those things. My dad was with me, and I think we might have been on a Gator credential. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But we walked past a security guy who was occupied with stopping
Right.
somebody else.
Right.
And once we got just past him, I'm like, just
Keep going.
go.
Just
don't
Don't look back. Don't stop.
That's
just go.
right.
If anybody calls you, keep
Keep
walking.
going. Unless they really come up and grab you, say,
they're
hey.
asking for somebody else.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
we
you
got
talk
in there.
about having to have the a credential
should
or
I
a
tell that
pass.
story on here? I mean, it's good. Bullets out of
It's
the gun
over
now.
It's over now.
That's right. But we saw a lot of people in the grandstands over near turn 3 that I was like, wow, these guys aren't down in the infield, hanging around. And we saw Jeff Hockman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
in turn
Hockman
3.
told me Tuesday night at Rolling Wheels, when he was done with Rolling Wheels, he was going to go home and pack, and he was pulling an all-nighter, driving all night to go there.
I was going to say, he must have pulled
And then
an
he was
all-nighter.
leaving there to go to Peevely.
Just so you know,
Wow.
John, our live viewership now is up to like 13 people again. Now we've gotten off this wingless passing point.
Oh, so we were at 23 before that.
No, we were at 3. It was.
Yep. So
Did you get the chance after the event to get anywhere near it, to walk the track or anything like that? Because one of the coolest perspectives of that track is actually to stand on the top of the track up
It's
by the
steep.
wall and look down, and it's looking off a cliff.
Yep, it is steep.
yeah, and it certainly looks that way from where we were able to sit, because I mean the bank is so tall that you would lose the side of the truck. You could see the roof of it,
Right.
but that when they were coming by you would lose that perspective. So you got it a little bit, but standing on the track would definitely be and that wasn't something we were able to do. They kind of seemed to keep it pretty locked up,
Yeah,
pretty tight.
I imagine they do for that.
But there was a lot of fans that were down on the front stretch grandstand area watching the post-race festivities. They took Austin Dillon went out onto the track and kissed the dirt.
They showed that.
Oh wow, really?
Yep.
On the
and
broadcast, they showed him with the shovel where he dug up the
Yes.
big chunk of
Yep.
clay.
They dug up some clay, filled it up
They
into
filled it
some
up in
jars,
little jars, yeah.
And the truck this
And
weekend.
the shovel was gold.
Oh, okay.
It looked on television. It looked like it was gold. It was a
Very
gold
well
shovel.
could have been, yeah.
So it was staged.
Of course, that was part of his I don't know. You call it a trophy. I mean, he had a trophy, but it was part of the winner got the big gold shovel.
So they're
going
gonna call that the Golden Digger instead of the Golden.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Austin Dillon's a gold digger.
He could be.
Yeah.
So they're going to
He could
take
be.
the jars of clay, they're going to take that truck, and they're going to take it down to the Hall of Fame
Oh, cool.
and put it on display
That's
for a
neat.
while.
And they said during the broadcast that the trophy actually had dirt in it, like actual dirt from the racetrack. In the,
oh.
I don't know if the trophy was maybe a
What?
cup or something, but there was dirt. Yeah, they had
It
dirt
was
in
full. They
I don't know
filled
if it was
with
full,
dirt.
but there was dirt in it because they kept talking about it last night during the broadcast.
All right.
Yeah.
You're talking about that perspective where you lose the cars,
Mhm.
the side when the modifieds were out there. I think Danny Johnson and Matt Shepard ended up going 1-2. Bob McCready had a real good run going, and he was running the top. Like he was getting grip off the middle of the wall, kind of top, and he would every time he came through turn 4, he'd catch the outside bumper and big shower of sparks and stuff. But I mean, I imagine the fans in the stands didn't know what was happening because every now and again the wall would just kind of light up. But that's where Bob was running way up on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And-
ran out there, twice? I think we did, right? Our modifieds?
Yeah,
Twice,
I
wasn't it?
think so.
'Cause Brett
2
won
or
one
3
time.
Yeah. That was when Danny and Matt both were in all white Advanced Lubrication Specialties car before it was Extreme
Mhm.
Lubricants. They were all
Yeah.
white, and there was an orange 27J and a yellow 29. And this is going back maybe 2004
Yeah.
or before 2002, 2003 even. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hammer down Brad about Bloomquist.
Oh, he was.
Well,
He was junk last night.
We listened to the NASCAR channel on Sirius XM all the way home, and Bloomquist was getting hammered
Oh, he was.
today.
So many
Well,
people. have picked
I'd
him
want to
win
forget
that
it
thing.
too.
Right, right. But it was just, Scott Bloomquist.
Oh, so many
Eldora.
people picked him to win that thing.
Right.
You picked
I didn't
him.
know. I picked Kyle
No.
Larson right from day
Oh,
one.
did-
I didn't think Bloomquist was going to win, but I thought he would do well.
I think you don't
didn't
remember
think
your
he would
story.
be this poor. Oh, I would never say Scott Bloomquist won because I don't like him.
It was,
I don't like that dude.
and he was picking up the left front tire. I mean, the guys on MRN were joking about it on their breaks and the coverage. You can still hear them on your headset.
Yep.
And Steve Post says, wow, Bloomquist is lifting up the left front tire, and everybody is just cracking up because it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. You know,
he was really out to lunch. Even in practice, he was slow on Tuesday.
Yeah,
slow.
And we were talking amongst ourselves in the car, and it's like, you know, you would think that Scott Bloomquist would be a factor. And my brother pipes in and says, well, he was a factor. He was really hard to get around for the
when they were
leaders.
lapping him.
When they were lapping him. So.
Yep.
But, yeah, definitely bring that front sway bar next time.
Yeah. If he gets another shot.
Yeah, that's all.
Although Kyle Busch should, if they do this again next year, Kyle should give him another shot because Kyle ran Bloomquist's car for 4 or 5 years in a row now for the Prelude, so he should get more than one shot.
I think it will be interesting to see, what will the announcement be about, is this going to come back? And then...
Bruton wants to put clay around Charlotte.
He should.
Yeah.
And then
That'd be one less cookie cutter.
You know, if they do it again next year, you know, is it how much bigger is it going to get? Is, you know, because you know, there was not a ton of guys that, you know, top Sprint Cup stars in trucks that I thought I would see. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised by that.
I was a little surprised that Tony didn't actually race it. I mean, I know he's got a lot of work to do, but he ran the Kings Royal.
Right.
I mean, him and his asshole teammate got together. So he does run his own races, and he runs the Prelude.
Right.
So I was a little surprised he didn't put himself in a truck. There were a couple people that I was surprised that didn't pick up.
Ken Schrader set fast time, right?
Didn't go. Yeah,
he did.
But then he didn't really do much in the rest of the program.
He won his heat and then started on the pole in the feature. He finished top 10.
I believe he did come back to the top 10 because he fell back.
He did.
For a while.
He faded there in the beginning, but like that last segment, he started to come forward. He might have been 6th, 7th, 8th. I don't know. He ran a solid 2 days.
He did.
Jeff Gordon doesn't do a lot of crossover stuff. Been fun to see what he would have done in that truck.
Yeah,
having raced so much.
Yeah, he's won at
sprint car
Eldora
stuff.
before.
Yeah, he's won there.
Stuff, so.
Carl Edwards, another guy with dirt experience. Casey Kane, dirt experience there.
Yeah. I mean, these are guys that, you know, especially somebody
Matt
like Kate,
Kenseth. He came from late models up in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't have the only dirt experience he's got is Prelude.
Prelude stuff.
I think pretty much
just that.
But I was surprised, like somebody like Casey, even JJ. You know, these are dirt guys that have won it, Eldora and stuff before. Even Clint Boyer, I was surprised with him winning the Prelude before. Yeah. He's got late model teams. Yeah, he had one of his drivers, Jared Landers, in one of the trucks last night. So I was surprised to see he wasn't driving. He was regretting it last night during the broadcast.
Bobby Labonte is a guy that's got experience in the Prelude events.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of late model experience now the last few years owning a team and stuff.
Yep.
And
a couple teams.
They're building cars.
Yeah, they build their own.
Yeah. Yep.
So there were a handful of guys I could think of off the top of my head last night that I was surprised.
Do you think they just held out because they wanted to see what happened?
That could be part of it. And I think a lot of them, like Clint Boyer admittedly last night, was regretting not pursuing this. He said he is going to race this race next year if they run it.
He had to teach his driver how to shift.
They had Helton on last night during the broadcast, and Clint said, you know, he pretty much told him, I hope you guys are bringing this back next year.
Yeah.
So I think they will.
They just can't Winter Classic it. If they Winter Classic it, it's not going to be that special anymore.
I said last night, I hope that this winds up being the most watched NASCAR race this year. I hope the audience was bigger than the Daytona 500 this year. That's what we really need.
Well, the appeal. I mean, the appeal's there.
It's getting it got the most attention all year. The most talked about NASCAR event this year was that race.
I heard two things today. Number one was I heard a number of 1.4 million got thrown out, overnight ratings. The other one was that stood out to me was it was the most watched race on Speed ever.
Really?
That's huge.
Yeah, because they do the All-Star race.
They do the All-Star race. They
show
the truck races at a.
They've had the duels the last couple of years too, right?
Right.
Eldora turned into a small city.
It did. It did.
Yeah. It was.
Isn't Rossburg a small city anyway?
Oh, it's really
it's out in the cornfield.
Yeah, it's a little rinky-dink place. That's for sure.
Yeah, I asked my brother who had been there. I said, "Where are we going to lunch?" And he goes, "Not in Rossburg." So.
I know when the missus and I went in 2004 and in 2006, we stayed in what was that town? Sydney, Ohio. It's like a half hour, 45 minutes from the track, maybe.
Okay.
It was near Sydney. Isn't too far from Lima.
Yeah, that's where we were located. Was Lima. It was a nice drive.
Yep.
We stayed in, I think it was Wapakoneta. We went out to Eldora.
We were all taking turns trying to pronounce that city's name.
Yeah, it's a bustling metropolis, too.
I'll bet. Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's not that big. They got a days in the stoplight.
It's more than Fort Plains got. They got the stoplight. They don't have a days in, though.
Well, you got the clean sweep now. You got passing points. You got wingless sprints. You got a driver to agree with you, which is, I don't know how that happened. And now you got Fort Plains. I mean, you got it all. You covered all your bases
Chili
tonight.
Bowl.
Oh, forgot. Ken's gonna get mad at me now because I did that. Ken keeps telling me, he goes, stop mentioning it. He's just gonna keep bugging you.
And down goes the live viewership.
Ken logged off. That was it.
See you, Ken.
Yep, that was it. But yeah, I mean, it was a good time. Sounds like it was a good time.
For sure. And the other thing that I am going to make a piece of our Race Chaser online piece is that the Norm Benning story. I mean,
Yeah, we forgot that.
one of my
Everybody was
favorite
talking about
terms.
that today.
Yeah, one of my favorite terms to describe a race or something that happened in a race. And I don't know if he originally coined this term, but I heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. talk about Jason Leffler when he won the Busch race at IRP.
Mm-hmm.
He said he drove that thing down into one and sold the farm. Norm Benning sold the farm when he went into turn 3, and he said this afternoon on the radio. He said, I went into turn 3, and I knew if I just rode the wall, there's no way they could spin me out to the infield.
Yep.
So he hit the wall in 3, and he rode it all the way around.
He did.
And
Peeled the fenders off at Muffler, or the whole
He did.
exhaust
Yeah, the whole
system hanging
exhaust was
underneath
dragging on the
yeah,
ground.
he ruined the
That thing
truck.
was beat.
The suspension's bent. the right frame rail is all bent up, and that was his. I think he said that was his Speedway truck. They're trying to figure out how they're going to put it back together, go to Pocono.
Yeah, after not only running the B main, and then he had to run the feature too.
Right, exactly.
I don't know where he finished. Do you?
He
Did he
finished
finish?
better than Scott Bloomquist.
He beat Bloomquist.
Would
Yeah.
you
Yes, he
leave
did.
Scott
Everybody.
alone? My
He was
goodness.
last. He was last the entire race, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was last the entire race. He was awful.
There was one of the commentators today, Chocolate Myers.
Did they have that many
Yeah.
cars not qualify, though?
5. There were
Five.
35 trucks.
Five went
guys
home.
had to go
30
home.
started. Unfortunately, J.R. Hefner was one of them. He started on the
Yeah,
pole in
you
the
said
B
that.
main,
And he just
took the green flag, and the truck didn't move.
Yep.
Everybody just smoked him on the start. He coasted down in the infield.
Yep.
Done. I don't know what happened.
And he finished second in his heat.
Yeah, finished second in his
Finished
heat.
second to
Had to run the
Schrader.
B. But because of the way they ran, with so many guaranteed starters because of points, each heat had like one or two guys, well, 2 or 3 guys that had to race their way in, but they would only take one. So unfortunately for JR, he was in the first heat with Schrader, who set fast time and started
Right.
on the pole in the heat.
right.
So he couldn't, he stayed with him, but wasn't good enough to pass him.
Sure.
Schrader wins the heat. Schrader gets in the show. JR doesn't, has to run the B.
Did the track slick off bad?
It was pretty much all the way across.
Oh, it was glassed both days, practice and everything.
Yeah.
And that's what Tony wanted. He wanted to keep it glass because he knew if he had a wet, heavy track where people are bouncing off the curb and it's really fast, they were going to destroy everything.
Right.
Right. And the one thing that I will say, along with the track preparation, that I think the best thing they did was they brought their late model class in
Right.
to run a regular show, because that was that much more space that those cars were able to, because in the heat races for the trucks, it was one lane and one lane only.
Right.
But when the late models went out for their 25-lap feature,
Yep.
widened it out, and Austin Dillon started 19th in the feature to win, and he was making his passes one lane down from the wall.
Yep.
And that's how he was able to get up and start making a run to then make a dive bomb move to take a spot.
Yeah.
So
I guess Joey Coulter said on the broadcast that he brought his late model
he
and
did.
ran the late model race too. Did he do anything in it?
He looked like he struggled mightily in the heat race,
See.
and I didn't catch too much of the feature for the late model guys, but
He finished the truck race in the top 5.
But he was in the top 5 in the truck, so I'm sure that helped.
It obviously helps because he wasn't very good in practice on Tuesday. He wasn't very good at all.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the race last night, obviously him bringing his late model and all the practice that they did get in the truck, obviously he learned a lot in it, and it helped pay off for a good finish at the end of the night.
For the struggles of many guys on Tuesday,
to see
it was
them
so impressive last night.
I was amazed by the end of the whole thing when it was all said and done. From what I saw early in practice on Tuesday of what they covered on speed, and then where some of these guys finished, they improved immensely. Everybody improved. Just the race itself, it wasn't a caution-filled race like I thought it was going to be.
There was one caution for an accident and a couple for debris.
Right.
But that was
they did have the late debris caution there right at the very end. One of those late cautions was for debris. I'm like,
Kyle Larson was thrilled about that.
That's when I said to Mallet, when one of those late race, under 10 laps to go, caution fell for debris, I said, now we just realized that this is a NASCAR race because it just threw the NASCAR Pierre debris caution with less than 10 to go.
Yep.
Now I know it's a NASCAR race.
And Ryan Newman keyed the mic as soon as that, and he said, now we're going to have fun. And, of course, this is after Kyle Larson pulls a slide job and used them up.
Oh, he used them up big time.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you.
And Ryan talked about it afterwards, too, on TV.
Yeah.
He used them up big time.
Yeah.
He said he was going to give him the whole left side of his truck back or something.
That's right. He said he's going to give him the left side because he used it all up. Yeah. I tell you, those guys had fun. They put on a great show. They really did. I was.
There were a lot of skeptical people, but I think most everybody that was skeptical going in admitted today that they were wrong. It was a good show.
Yeah, for sure.
It was.
Yeah.
I want to see the replay. I was down at Whitney Point last night. You drove by, and I saw you wave when you went by.
Yeah, I waved.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't really a wave. It was more of a salute.
Yeah. I was down there watching Richie Predmore take a tilted Vic and beat the snot out of a 77 Buick Electra. It was pretty fun. Utica Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, key player in the 31st lap family for the next calendar year, staple of the Finger Lakes since 1963. Utica Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram offers full service, parts, and sales from their headquarters on routes 5 and 20 on the west side of Geneva. The lineup includes the beautiful 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee and Dodge's hot new offering, the Dart. They need trade-ins. Right now, the pre-owned inventory was ravaged by record May and June sales, and they're in desperate need of quality pre-owned vehicles. They're going to hold nothing back and give you the most that they can for your car to help you into one of the new cars, vans, SUVs, or trucks. Visit my favorite sales rep, Mike Godkin, and the rest of the D'Amico family online at DeMicoChryslerDodgeJeep.com, or visit them in person at the dealership, open daily, Monday to Saturday at 8:30. For more information, call D'Amico's at 877-407-7207. And, of course, we've got Creekside Entertainment, the official fan connection player of the 31st lap. This chair is hung up on a freaking carpet over here, and I can't get close to the microphone.
Oh, my.
I know. What the heck? Creekside Entertainment in Newark is the fastest-growing DJ service in the Finger Lakes. The group features anything you might need to kickstart your next party or gathering. The official photo booth provider of the Rochester Nighthawks, Creekside Entertainment offers DJ services, sound rentals, and karaoke. They can be found around the area weekly, including F&A's Rhythm and Booze, the new bar in Waterloo, and they are there Mondays from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m., every Friday night at the Poorhouse from 9 o'clock until 1 a.m. straight through December, every Friday night at the Quality Inn located in Newark, featuring rock and roll karaoke from 9:30 until 1:30 a.m., and then Saturday nights at the Pendan VFW from 8 until 12. That's Creekside Entertainment, the official fan connection sponsors of the 31st lap. Online at creeksideentertainmentdj.com. Call Stu at 315-481-9700 or email creeksideentertainment@yahoo.com.
I gotta say, I like the sounds of that. Rhythm and Booze.
Rhythm and Booze. We were there at one point, back when it was the upper deck. You remember going there one time?
The upper deck?
Yeah. The upper deck. It's down on Washington Street behind the post office. Way back when, it used to be Mr. Pete's place, and then I think it was named Renegades at one point.
Like
us
for a while. After the show, you mean?
Yeah, we went there one time.
I don't think I was with you. The only places I've been is Amy's and this place down the street.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we went there.
Must have went when I wasn't here.
Could be. I don't know. Either that or you just had that great of a time, because I've time traveled before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've only been to Amy's and.
Well, you'll have to go sometime. You'll have to make the trip out on a Monday, and you can listen to Creekside.
Yeah,
I'll get right on that.
Yeah,
and I hate to admit this, but You talk about Amy's. I've never been to Amy's.
You've never
No.
been to Amy's,
Never
really?
been to Amy's.
I had never been there until we did a show.
And you love it there.
Yeah, I like Amy. She's a nice lady.
We
She greets everybody with a big old schmooch. She don't even know you.
yeah. And
She's a nice lady.
And she greets Dean Reynolds and Mike Mallett with a big old butt grab.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to go there sometime. It's awesome. The history on the walls of that place.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's all covered in racing stuff.
And
Everything.
I've heard so many stories.
I love
you know.
it because half of the walls are covered in Miller stuff. So I'm
Look at that.
thrilled to death because
PB Racing keeps the brew stocked up
long
well
live
at
Miller
FNA's.
Lite.
How about that? One of our
Oh,
listeners
that-
delivers beer there.
That is correct. Yes, he does. Yep.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Well, could he deliver some Miller Lite to my car?
We don't condone drinking and driving, especially when we have a sponsor.
No,
that's
you
not
put
a
it in the
dealer.
trunk and take it home.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making it clear.
He actually was telling him where the show takes place, and he goes, "Yeah, I drive by that every day, right along the canal." He knew.
Yep.
Yeah, we got some stuff that we still need to
tell
get
him
to.
next Thursday to be out here at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
with
he,
the Miller Lite.
he doesn't deliver Miller.
Boo!
Well, I like PB Racing.
Those are a good group of guys there, the Palmieri boys. So
Nice. So
Well-
what's going on this week? What do we got coming up? Anything? Got some
My schedule's a lot different than yours.
We got some normal racing coming up this weekend. Next week is the RLC deal at Grandview, which we
Right.
talked a little bit about
Yep.
with Mike.
Mike's going down there.
Yeah, that should be a good show. I think I'm going to ride down with Mal. I want to see the BPG Racing number 4. I have not seen it yet this year. So
Yeah, you were alluding to that,
yep.
and then I think you said something after that, but I kind of tuned out.
Surprise.
I'm going to Dunkirk Sunday. In case everybody's wondering, where Smashed Empire Films is going to be headed. We got a big show up there.
What
in
had Kirk
Dunkirk.
done this time?
What? Chautauqua County Fair.
Chautauqua County. We just spent the whole week in Chautauqua County
Sure
last
did.
week.
Yep. You weren't far from where I was Tuesday.
No?
No.
Where were you Tuesday?
The Chautauqua County Fair.
Where is it though? Where's the?
It's in Dunkirk.
It's in Dunkirk. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. There
Nice.
and then Whitney Point last night. We're talking about maybe going over to Canandaigua on Saturday, but I don't know if we're going. Maybe. Haven't really figured it out yet.
Why they got a demo?
Yeah, Justin Gilmartin might be
Is
making the trip over there.
Brian doing it?
No, this
No.
is a Total Destruction show. Steve Manshaki's doing it. Yep.
Nice.
Head funeral services for Spike Dudley Spike Dudley. I can't believe I just did that. So, Spike Snyder. He passed away. That was kind of tough. And then turned out Austin turned around and won the feature over that. Austin Manshaki turned around and won the feature at Peñas. That was kind of cool. Might get a chance to go over and see Steve and everybody there Saturday. Where are you going?
I don't know.
You haven't
Probably
decided?
nowhere.
No? You need a
I don't
vacation?
do a whole lot of weekend racing much anymore.
Need a vacation
The
from your
regular-
vacation?
I don't do a lot of the regular Friday,
How
Saturday
was
night
Lake
stuff
Erie?
much anymore.
How-
Lake
I mean-
Erie was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place. They do a nice show. They got 5 divisions. The last Saturday while we were there, they had 6 though because they had the Must See Racing Wing Supers there.
Mm.
So they had 6 total classes. Their headline class is UMP/IMCA style modifieds, and of course, for those that don't know, Lake Erie Speedway is just across the PA border from New York, on the western end of New York. It was like 5 minutes from where we were camping at Finley Lake, and it's a pavement track. It's like a 3/8 of a mile, I guess they call it. Beautiful facility,
Yeah.
real nice. They do a nice job there. They do a good job of keeping you entertained during downtime. They got a lot of crap going on. The announcers are always talking and giving away stuff down on the front stretch. They have when it's feature time for each class. They have a bunch of girls that come out and walk the front stretch with signs holding up how many laps that particular feature is. To just do a lot of stuff to keep you entertained. Everything's state of the art, first class. Very good lighting system. The sound system is fantastic. It's one of those newer sound systems with
Sure.
the big giant speakers.
Right.
Like you can almost hear them clearly over the race cars.
Wow.
Everything's
cool.
really nice. They got
That's nice.
like Texas Motor Speedway has. The fencing has the flashing colored lights, like when they have a yellow or whatever. Texas Motor Speedway has that. Well, they have that there.
Oh, yeah?
It's just everything is it's a very
Wow.
very nice facility. I would recommend anybody, that has a chance to go there to go there. What? Hold on. Huh? The
What?
girls. I just said that. Where were you? Did I not just tell you about the girls to hold up the signs?
That was my
for the
favorite part of the
features?
story.
He got me on that one.
Yeah,
she's in La
I
La
got it.
Land over
She's
here.
over there. She's engrossed in her phone. I understand.
Jesus.
But if
Women
you
and
wanna-
their phones. But anyway,
But if you want
I
to
recommend.
but if you do want to correct John or mention anything to him, you can get a hold of him directly right through that microphone. Swing
yeah,
it.
right. I know. No, I recommend anybody ever has a chance to go there. Go there. It's a very nice facility. They ran the show really, for the most part, very well. Really, the only downtime they did take a intermission. It was kind of long, but so I think the show ran longer than what they normally do there because their normal 5 divisions, they don't have a lot of cars. The division that they had the most cars in was the 4-cylinder class, and they were a ball to watch,
Right.
because they were all over the place, running on pavement. They go 4 or 5 wide. They're crazy.
Right.
But the rest of the classes are kind of low car counts, so they
Do they?
they
they
can run the
features
show
only or
fairly
no?
quicker,
They run
fairly
fe-
quick.
they-
No, they ran heats for
Do
everybody.
they?
They had Legends cars, Bandoleros, the 4-cylinders, the UMP, IMCA style modifieds, and what was their other normal class?
Do those
I can't
UMP cars
remember.
run slicks?
I think it was hard to tell from the stands. I almost think they were treaded, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I think they were though. They were narrow tires.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I thought the place was really nice. Pretty well run show. Again, I think they ran long that particular night because they had the 6th class because they made a big deal. With the wing supers, they brought them out on the front stretch, lined them all up, and went through this whole driver introduction. So they took
Sure.
a while doing that. So had they not had that, if you went on a normal Saturday,
Did you suggest
like
to
it's
any of them
pretty
that they
well-run
should take
show.
the wings off those?
I would have. No, actually, those cars I don't mind seeing them with the wings because they're such a different kind of car. They're so low to the ground anyway
Right.
that they're already almost planted anyway.
I mean, it's like an Indy car,
Yeah.
real low.
I don't mind seeing them with the wings with those because it really, to me, it doesn't. Other than a little bit of speed, it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference.
Do they run the offset engines on those or no?
Yep.
Do they?
Yep.
I'm not real familiar with that track at all.
Unfortunately, because it was the Must See Racing series, that series running wing supers, it's only like the 2nd year I think they've had them
Right.
because they got the normal 410 sprints too. They only had 11 cars, so
Yeah.
that was really the only downside about that. But it was still cool to see them.
Right.
For me, it was all about just enjoying a nice new track for me. I'd never been there, so
Sure.
just another track I can add to my
Don't say it.
ever-growing list of tracks that I've visited.
Much better.
Yep.
You're start throwing
We
bucket list around in
While-
your cliche machine.
While we were camping the middle of the week, we did go to Jamestown one afternoon and went to the.
Did they give you the tour?
We went to Jamestown purposely. We went there to go to the Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz Museum because Lucille Ball, many people may not know, was born in Jamestown, New York, and they have a museum. So I was not about to go to Jamestown, New York, and not at least go check out State Line Speedway.
Sure.
So we did go over and checked out the Speedway for 10, 15 minutes. Just looked around a little bit, took a few photos with my phone, and so I at least got to see it. I ain't seen a race there yet, but I did get to at least view the place. Looked like it'd be a neat little dirt track to go to sometime. But other than that, camping was good. Hot as hell. Warm week. It was a warm week. We spent a lot of time in the pool.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yep.
You earned it.
Did
week
I?
off,
I
yes.
didn't. She did. I didn't.
So who's back here next week? You coming back next Thursday?
I would imagine so.
Okay, good, because somebody's got to be here. Are you coming back next Thursday?
I told you, man. Anytime you got an open chair,
You're all giddy about it.
I'm
Yeah,
down
you-
to talk racing. This is.
I know Mike told me last night he won't be here
Yeah,
for
I
a few
know.
weeks.
Yeah,
I don't
we-
even know when he's going to be here.
The next time we're going to see him, we're going to be setting up our tables
It'll
and
probably
birds
be
and
like
like super
September
dirt week
or
or something.
something,
Yeah, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, come on out next week, and maybe by then we'll hear back from Jay Fish, and maybe we'll hear back from Rich, and see who we can get together.
Who?
Rich Post.
Who's that?
He was the first person that we added to the cast.
I've heard of Mitch.
Way back when. Yeah,
I
Mitch
don't know
Post.
that I know
Wonderful.
Rich.
Yeah, do that. That's a good idea.
I met a guy that looked like him once on a 4-wheeler.
Rich or Mitch?
I don't think.
I think it was Rich.
Yeah. I hope it was Rich, because if it was Mitch, you'd probably be scared for your life and well-being.
Mitch Post.
P-Spot's the host of the Viral Spiral, and he came in and acted as because Rich wasn't here for a couple weeks in a row, so he came in as Rich's long lost brother
Mitch,
his long lost brother Mitch, and he wore a Carhartt.
He wore a disguise.
Yeah, he wore a disguise and everything, and wore these
That's great.
coveralls were all greasy and stuff like he'd been working
he had
on
a fake
car.
Mustache and beard or something. Oh my god.
Had a Mark Martin car stuck to the bill of his ass.
Yes, he did.
And he kept
The sad part about that whole night
was that Rich actually came.
He had the costume on and all, sitting, in one of the chairs on the camera in his costume. Okay, now it's a little weird, but I get it because you're on camera. The weird part for me was he was outside because when we get here, normally downstairs before we get into the studio, get into the building, the door's locked, and we will text Chris and he will come down and unlock the door and let us in.
Because I am the key master.
So when Mike and I got here, there's this weird guy in his goofy costume standing outside. And we're like, who the hell is that guy? And we'll come to find out he was joining us on the show. So the weird part for me was that he was in the costume already coming here. So he left home wearing this. He didn't change and put this crap on when he got here. He wore it here. And I'm like, really?
There's people driving next to him on 5 and 20.
You go out in public looking like that? Like that?
No, he walked here. He walked here.
Did he? Walked here?
Yeah, he lives over. I think he lives over. I think it's Minder Street.
Can you just imagine seeing that walking down the street? Good grief!
I can't say anything, man. I'm from Penn.
Yeah. That was the funny part for me. I couldn't believe you wore that crap here.
Yeah, he's a little bit different. It was fun. He came out, made a couple, 2-3 appearances. He had the Danica Patrick poster that he was trying to peddle it
that
nobody wanted.
And then he ended up leaving it here.
He ended up leaving it here, and I ended up having to pay him for it because we couldn't find it afterwards. He thought I kept it.
He was trying to peddle a Danica Patrick poster on here to raise money because he was broke.
He needed parts for his race car.
Oh, was that?
That was the gimmick. Yeah. Oh well.
Grief.
And John's laughing about it now. He was not impressed.
No,
when it happened.
I was not impressed at all.
Because my intention wasn't to do the Mitch Post thing. That was kind of Ted's idea.
I came up with the Mitch Post thing.
You ended up. Yeah, that's right.
I'm the one who named it Mitch Post.
Yeah. And originally it was just to try to do some Figure Lakes One cross promotion, have the Viral Spiral host on here, and then I was going to be on his show. I produce his show most of the time. So it was going to just some cross promotion, and it just went this strange, bizarre path.
It was really weird.
It was very weird. Like the fans totally didn't.
Yeah, they're not going to
accept it at all. They there was no room even for discussion about this. Like the fans in the live chat were like, "You need to stop and get back to what you guys do because you're making yourselves a joke." It was bad, man. It was a tough stretch, but we got through it. And out of it, we have a great story, and still no Mitch and still no Rich.
Now we got no post.
Yeah. Oh well.
So that was one of those shows where you decided to take the front sway bar out, and it just didn't work.
No, it didn't work at all.
What we have done so far has gone for an hour and 40 minutes.
Nice.
If you can believe that.
Good deal.
And
I hope we're keeping everybody entertained.
Right now, I meant to tell you, I'm remiss to do this. I believe, if everything goes right, Steve Pisaric may be joining us in studio next week. So that'll be kind of cool. Steve Pisaric celebrated his 67th birthday, and the following Saturday went out and won his division at Canandaigua Motorsports Park, and at the age of 67 is the oldest winner in what has evolved to being the dirt car stock division.
Nice.
Which originally started as the pro stocks. And I believe he is now the oldest winner of any feature at Ontario County Fairgrounds, Canandaigua Speedway, Canandaigua Motorsports Park, passing Bobby Lutz, who won a super stock feature at the age of 63. So that's kind of cool. And he's from right here locally. Lot of racing history with Steve, and I believe if everything goes right, he'll be joining us next week, so that'll be kind of cool.
Nice.
Been a lot of feel-good stories at Canandaigua this year.
Yeah.
Nothing beats Hendershot's deal, though, man.
I was just going to tell you, he brought the car Tuesday night to Rolling Wheels. Ray did.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Great. That's cool.
And he picked a good night because there was only 13 cars there. And he did tell me, because when I saw him, because I work in the pit gate, he come through the gate, and I said, geez, you haven't won that third race yet, have you? Because, after getting 3 wins, he's got to move up. He's got 2. The last time I talked to him, I knew he had 2. And he said, no, I haven't. He goes, but I'm moving up. He goes, next year I'm running Sportsman.
Awesome.
So he's going to be out of the rookie class and moving up to full-time sportsman next year, I guess.
Cool.
So
we'll have to get him
he
back
seemed
in
happy
here.
about it, so that was good.
Yeah, we got to get him back in here. That was such a great
Real-
time. I could have talked to him all night.
Real nice guy.
Yep. All the stories that he had.
This afternoon, I found him on Facebook, and I sent him a friend request.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice guy.
Now that you've gotten back into the regular loop with internet connectivity.
Yeah, I know. Actually, today was the first day I've actually gotten on Facebook, not through my phone.
Yeah. Yep.
So hopefully we'll have Steve Pasaric next week. We're going to see John, and we're going to see Steven. We're going to be talking about D'Amico Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We're going to be talking about Creekside Entertainment. And we're going to be talking all sorts of local racing. I think, ladies and gentlemen, and all those folks watching with us at home, that's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. We sure appreciate everybody hanging out with us, and we're going to see you right back here again next week.
Shalom.